To you, my friends, goodbye for now, until we meet again. So long, farewell to you, my friends, goodbye for now. So my name is Makkedah Miller. I am the children's manager here at Graham Public Library. We're foundational. And it's something I'm super passionate about, actually, because one of the worst things that you hear when you're working in a library setting is who still uses libraries, or like, why do you need the library? And it's like this concept that no one uses the libraries is bogus. I don't even use that word, but seriously, it's bogus, because you've got, for one, parents of young children. They come in for programming. They come in to start that foundational stuff. I did the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten with my daughter, and I wasn't working in libraries at the time. There's plenty of parents that come in for story times and things like that. Homeschooled kids, which there are a ton, use the library a lot. But then you're thinking about like the populations that have, but they're also the people that have not, that use the library. The library is one of the only place where you can be homeless in public and nobody bother you. Maybe I'm downplaying it. I don't necessarily feel like I'm making the biggest difference. I don't initially, like when I'm in the process of like working with youth or like working with families or anything like that, I'm never sitting here thinking to myself like, oh my gosh, I'm making a difference. Like, that's not my thought process. It's usually a lot of the time when you wind up in any kind of like public service or like field of that nature, you tend to wind up there because you were a kid that needed help, or you were a kid that would like support or something like that. So when you're doing it, you're just like, oh, if it were me in your position, how would I like to be treated? What would I need? How can I serve you in the way that I wanted to be served when I was your age? And so that is just kind of like second nature of like, how can I help? But the flip side of that is, for the first time this year, I've been receiving phone calls from my very first group of students in the school system. And I've bumped into two students, one that called me, whose mom saved my number since she was in 6th grade. She's a senior in high school now. So I was over the moon. Like, I literally almost cried, because she was just like, yeah, my mom said when I'm about to graduate. And I'm like a huge theater nerd. So she was just like, yeah, I went to theater school. I'm like in theater now, and I'm looking at getting a theater degree when I graduate. And I was just like, oh. And then another kid, she was telling me that she was having a little bit of trouble in school, but like she was pushing through and she was still going to graduate on time and all these other kind of things. And I said, well, you don't have to go the traditional path. You don't have to, get a degree, which I know a lot of parents hate that I say that. I don't care, because you don't have to do that, right? There are so many other options. And I was encouraging her to explore her options. And she said this thing, and I almost cried. She was in the grocery store. She was checking out my groceries. I was like, why are you grown now? And she goes, oh, I know that. You taught me that.